Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk CRM. I know, boring topic. We're going to also talk high level specifically. So what is high level? Let's just start with that. So high level is this CRM tool that basically tries to do every single thing under the sun. And by every single thing, I mean everything under the sun. Okay. I've been playing around with it for a few months now, probably about maybe about 6 to 7 months now. This is my raw, unfiltered, unbiased review of this tool. There's lots of videos out on the internet about it. If you're looking for a tutorial, this is not it. This is just me giving you sort of a whirlwind tour, what I think about the tool, where I think it actually really excels, and some parts where I think it's just garbage. I'm also trying to tell you or give you some insight into why I'm actually sticking with the tool rather than abandon it. I tend to abandon tools after a little bit of time when I don't see the value in them. But this one here has just enough value that I'm willing to stick with it. But all in all, there's a couple of flaws that's actually really frustrating for me. Stay tuned to a little bit closer to the end of the video. I'm actually going to show you how to deal with email opens. So one of the problems with this tool is that it's not very clear to see when you send out an email to somebody whether they open the email or not, and I have a hack to kind of solve that problem. So stay tuned a little bit to the end of the video, partially because I just want you to watch the video. All right, hopefully you get some value, and if you do get some value out of this, please subscribe. That's my rant for the day. Okay, let's just talk about the tool. So first of all, I want to frame this a little bit because I want to actually give some perspective. Okay, so before I jump into the tool, I just want to talk about two tools that I've used extensively: HubSpot and Pipedrive. And this is not, again, it's not a comparison, but I just want to frame it a little bit so you can understand. I think I used Pipedrive for probably about 4 years, maybe 3, and HubSpot definitely for about 2, maybe 2.5, something like that. And what I will say is that HubSpot is a really fantastic tool. It does some things really well. However, their pricing model is just at a whole other level. They're like a subset of Salesforce. They're trying to compete on that level, and so the way how they bundle things just doesn't make sense to me. The fact that they have limitations on the amount of leads or contacts that I could put into the system drives me absolutely nuts. I think that business model should just be abolished, because it's not costing them any single thing more for that. I think their value should be on their features that they put into the tool, not just trying to cap me on contacts. But anyway, I digress. I'm ranting. So I've paid for the HubSpot CRM suite, and then they've made some changes now, so I don't even know all their different services, etc. But the point is, I've done the marketing hub and I've done the CRM portion, so I'm quite familiar with the ins and outs of this. And then I switched over to Pipedrive, which I thought was a much more streamlined, much more efficient CRM tool. However, where it started breaking down for me, Pipedrive, was the fact that they didn't have email integration. Now, since I've left the tool, they do have email integration. In fact, it was in beta when I was leaving or planning to leave, and so they do now have email integration and two-way sync, I think, and it comes with, there's a few add-ons that you could put on there to kind of do some stuff. The problem is that these tools are, in my opinion, they're kind of like a one-trick pony. They do one thing really well, and then the other parts around it, that is the supporting parts that you need, it just falls apart. So what ended up happening is you have your CRM, but you also have this side tool, and you still have an Excel spreadsheet somewhere, right? And then you have this other thing that's doing something else. It's just a mess, right? And you have your automation and something else. So high level is trying to solve that problem. Now, I will say this. I don't think it's doing an excellent job at solving all of these problems, because they got a lot of bold statements here with a lot of check boxes. However, it's doing a fairly good, or I would say decent job at quite a few things. And to be fair, the developers and the people behind this this high level tool are really thinking through the details, because there's a lot of complexities here that's coming from a software developer that's built SaaS tools for a while, nearly 20 years now. So I can appreciate the effort and the ingenuity behind the tool. But yeah, there's some shortcomings, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So let's just go through this list. So just so you know, I'm not an expert at this tool and I haven't gone through things, and there's probably some stuff I might get wrong, but I want to give you my 2 cents on it. So yeah, CRM and pipeline definitely is a check. Unlimited sales funnel, yeah, that's a check. That's a straightforward one. Website builder, so it does have a website builder. I think it's kind of clunky. It's okay. It's definitely not, if you're building, you know, like a world-class website, you know, I wouldn't use this, but it's good enough for you to get started, that's for sure. So definitely forms and survey, I haven't used that either, but I would imagine it's pretty basic, pretty straightforward, like nothing fancy. It's not a type form or any single thing like that, right? Email marketing, it has a lot of capabilities around automation and being able to do lots of like if and else statements. If the person opened up the email, then do this. If they clicked on this link, then do that. Really, really good from that perspective. So I'll definitely say it's on par with the other tools for sure, but it's coming from a different angle. They're not made the same. If you're just a marketer and you just want to do like straight, you know, just like marketing campaigns, I wouldn't necessarily use this tool for that. But if you're coming from, say, a sales perspective and you need to like send out emails different based on rules, etc., that's when I would kind of use it. Two-way SMS marketing. This is actually a really cool feature. It's very well done. It's built into the platform. You just message people like a message and it just kind of comes through. So that's actually really good. Appointment booking. I use Calendly personally, so I haven't necessarily used their feature. I will try it though, because I know that you do have some integration with like Gmail and stuff like that, but it seems a little wonky to me how it would have to be set up, because my primary calendar will always be my Gmail calendar, and to have this separate calendar thingy, it needs to always sync with my primary calendar, which also syncs with my personal calendar for my family and stuff. So I'm not certain, but when I get some feedback on that, I'll let you know. Workflow automation, if I had to rate it, I would say it's about a 7.5 out of 10. There's some things that there's some limitations on, but definitely leaps and bounds above some of the other tools in terms of automation that I've seen, and then we'll talk about that in a bit. Call tracking seems okay. It's not very obvious when you want to do like mass calling, like let's say you want to call like 100 people and you just wanted to automate that process. I did see one YouTuber that it was able to do it, so we're going to talk about that probably in another video, but I will kind of allude to it in this conversation. Reputation management, can't really speak to this because I don't really deal with any of this stuff. But this is Google Analytics and stuff like that. Tracking analytics, okay. Communities, okay. It has a course. I don't see that here, but it has the ability to create like courses. Course and products. Yeah. So, but it again, it's okay. You know, if you really want a course thing, you'd go to one of these. Was it Kajabi? Yes, I think it's Kajabi. So, but all in all, considering all of this stuff, for $297, it's a really, really good bang for your buck. Because you got to think, at HubSpot, just for their CRM on their sales side, their CMS, right? They're quoting $550. If I go CMS level, I think this is based on contacts or something like that. But the bottom line is that, yeah, just for CRM, you're in the pring. And one thing that actually didn't mention on this here is the social media scheduling to do like mass thing. That's something I haven't played around with, but I'm going to start doing this because I've canceled some of my other subscription. I was using Loomly before for that. So Pipedrive is obviously significantly cheaper. So if you're coming from this level, looking at a $297 price point, it's like what? Like, why would I pay that much? I'll tell you why I pay that much for it. It has one feature that I really, really like, which is the ability to do multiple companies under the same tool. So like an agency. So I'll kind of explain it by doing a whiteboard. So humor me for a second here. I like whiteboards, right? Let's talk about this for a bit. So I did this video earlier, and the sound didn't work. It's just so frustrating. Hopefully I got sound. Jeez, I should have checked that again. Okay, we're just gonna trust that we got sound. I think I did test it before. So the agency, the way how it's set up, and this is what's unique about this tool specifically, is the fact that when you buy an account, this is your account here and this is you, right? you have the ability to set up sub accounts. And I guess the question would be, well, why would you want sub accounts? Well, the number one reason that I want it for is the fact that I actually run multiple companies. I do some consulting, and I have my own company, and I have this sort of doing unfinished thing that I'm trying to turn into something. I don't know what I'm trying to turn it into, but it's something. So I just have these random ideas, right? And in fact, now I'm thinking about it. I was like, you know what? This could be used for my family. I'm going to put my family in a CRM so I could notify them, message them, follow up, and do all kinds of craziness. And it's just a thought. So it's giving me more purpose. But let me just explain. So let's just say the model, or what it's designed for, is really for agencies, right? So if you're an agency, the whole notion of an agency is basically just somebody that's managing multiple different companies and helping them with stuff. And their business model is around appointment setting or coaching and that sort of deal. So let's say you had like a doctor over here, and that doctor ran obviously, or a doctor or dentist or whatever, and you came to him and says, hey man, I'm going to generate some leads for you. Do you want me to do that? And you're like, yeah, sure, no problem. What you would do is you would just spin up a new company for him. You'd put all of his contacts and all of his details inside of there, and then only when you booked an appointment and their guarantee or whatever, then you would just send it over to him. This guy never actually logs into this tool. So that's one way that you could actually use it. The other way is that you would just get him and you just say, you know what, I'm going to sell you the tool, I'm going to resell you the tool, and I'll charge you, I don't know, $150 per month. Right, you're already halfway through your pricing, so your price is only $297 and this guy is $150. So you sell 2 or 3 of these, you already cover your costs, right? And he would log into the tool and you would just be a support and training for him. So it's an interesting business model, it's an interesting use case, and it definitely has some merit. And I don't see, to my knowledge, I don't know any other company that's trying to attempt this at the scale that these guys are doing it. So I really give them some credit for that. And again, like I said, I'm not necessarily using it in any of this format. In fact, I don't even have an affiliate link to this tool or any single thing. Maybe I'll care someday, but right now I don't. It's just I'm just sharing my experience and how I feel about the tool overall. So hopefully that gives you some background. Okay, so in the last presentation that I did, in other words, the one that didn't get recorded, I actually created a brand new company. So I won't do that again in this one here. But see here, I could come in, I'm on the agency level right now. Oh, sorry. I'm on the agency level right now. Come on, back up. You know what? Let's just talk about this. You see this loading thing here? Drives me nuts. It's very, very slow. It's very, very slow from a performance standpoint, but I'm not harping on the tool right now. So here, see, I just added 3 companies. This one I just created. So what you would actually do, and this is a really cool feature of the tool. So you see here now I'm logged in as Dwayne Unfinished. I could go back here and go back to agency view. So now I'm that top guy up at the top, right? I'm gonna have to blur some of this information here. But I could click here, click on add new sub accounts. And what that will allow me to do is add a sub account. Oh, you know what? I might just be on the plan that's limiting me to a certain amount of sub accounts. Yeah, I think that's what this is. So I think you have to be on the higher tier or something like that. I think I do remember that at the time. It was like, you know what, I don't really need that many companies, so I didn't bother. But here, anyway, it doesn't matter. I have 3 companies in here. You'd add a sub account. But what's interesting about doing that is that you can set up a company, set up a template, set up all the different details, and then you could just rubber stamp companies. So let's say you're dealing with all dentists, right? As your thing, you could just rubber stamp all dentists setup. So you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over for setting up the company and the templates and the automation and all that type of stuff, right? But let me show you one that actually has some real data. I'll show you SnapSuite stuff, and then I'll just try to blur out some of the sensitive parts. So I don't get taken down by YouTube, by the way. So yeah, okay. So now what I could do is I could log in. I could come into SnapSuite, the company. Now I'm logged in as SnapSuite, right? And then what I will say as a big benefit from this tool is that there's just tons and tons of customization. So obviously setting up my own domain for my website, setting up my email service so that I could send out email either from my Gmail or from their system tools. from their own email server, and then basically all the the special DKIM records, all that kind of stuff you have to set up. The phone number you could set up as well too for SMS. They allow you to buy phone numbers. What I will say is that it's actually kind of limiting the numbers that you were able to buy. So if you try to buy a number, one of the limitations that I've noticed is that it only gives you the country, but it doesn't allow you to select a specific region, right? Like I want to say I would like a Toronto number. So I think what they do is they just buy these numbers, or they get them wholesale, and then they just resell them back to us. So they don't really give you options. So I noticed that every single time you come in here, it gives you like a different set of number. But I'm running specific campaigns in different regions. So I would explicitly like to go get a Florida number, explicitly like to go get a Texas number. It's kind of random when you get those numbers in here, which is something that I think that they need to improve on. Anyway, moving forward a little bit. So customization is great. Like I said, lots of value for the money. I'm trying to reach for my notes here. The thing that I like about the tool too is that it's also constantly evolving. So they're adding a ton of feature all the time, which is a good and a bad thing, because it's obviously it keeps changing. But for me, based on where I'm at, that change is good, because they're certainly improving from a feature standpoint. And actually there's one thing that I really like. So I could log in as I'm logged in right now as SnapSuite. I just keep switching between companies, right? Because I'm the owner of the entire thing. But I also like this feature, and this is a very, very unique feature. You could log in as another user. So I could say I want to log in as my sales guy, and the system will just put my session. So the way, how I send emails and whatever, and however he gets to see the system, I could test that. So if I say, you know what, I don't want him to see conversations, I could then go back to my system, disable that option, and then go back to his system and test that that's actually done correctly. So it gives you a lot of flexibility from that standpoint, which is what I really, really like about this tool, is the depth of just thinking about sort of like the layers that you have to think about if you're running multiple companies and you're managing multiple companies. They've really done a really good job thinking through those details. The other thing that I actually really like is the fact that they've brought in standardized reports. So these reports are like the call reports, for instance. So it only sees the call report that's made, right? But if I go back to my account here, switch back to my account, right? The loading is very slow. This is the one thing that drives me nuts. I'll show you where it really, really matters in a sec. I'll show you that in a sec. So yeah, here. So I just started running some Google and Facebook ads, right? But you see here, Google ads, just started running them. So here, and then Facebook ads. So it's actually, you could integrate your account and pull those information in directly into the platform, which I think is it's just a really good feature altogether. So that's really nice. Let's talk about that performance thing, because it really matters. So I'm going to go to a pipeline that has multiple pipelines, right? So this pipeline has multiple pipelines. Here is where things kind of break down a little bit. Some of the parts of the application, so I could kind of tell just purely from experience that this application was built in a slightly different era from the modern way of doing application development. So some things are a little clunky. Now, with that being said, they're fixing things really fast and they're improving this platform, so it changes by the minute, right? So you could see the improvements, but there's some things that it just drives me nuts about it. So let's say I got 300 leads in this pipeline, right? Again, I have to blur some of this stuff, but just know that there's 300 leads inside of here. And I'm going to scroll down to a really far part in this. If I click, so I'm on this contact here, right? If I click on this contact, notice my scroll bar is all the way down here. If I click on this contact here, it has to take me all the way into that contact, which is a problem because I just lost my spot. Now, if I go back, it doesn't put me back to that location. I'm now back up to the top. So now I have to go scrolling to try to find that particular lead, right? So then you say, okay, well, then the answer to that is, well, why don't you just right click, open it up, right click, open, right click, open, and then think. But look at this. Waiting, right? Same thing, waiting. right? So it's just really slow. So it makes things, I shouldn't say really slow, but it's slow enough that it makes things inefficient to move and do things at scale. So yeah, that's very frustrating. However, some things that are really cool, going back to that again, we got contacts, and then in this middle here you have this conversation. So if I sent out an email, let's just say I sent an email to this person, I could click on this template, I could choose one from my umpteen templates, choose from that, say use template, it'll pop it inside of here, I press a send, that'll go out to them, it'll show in here, right? And then I could actually see the history of the emails or text message that I did. One problem that I've seen, and let me try to find one just so I could be clear with it. I'm going to go to opportunity, I'm going to go back to my Facebook leads, and then I'm going to go to, let's go to this person here, right? And then you'll see that I sent an email to this person, yeah? And I sent an email to this person, but the problem is that I have no way of knowing whether they opened up the email or not. This is the thing that I was talking about. I have no way of knowing if they open up the email or not. So the way how I've been seeing people suggest that you have to do is you have to go to automation, then you have to go to the automation that sent out that email, and then what will happen is you click on the email, and then you go to for that template, and then you go to statistics, and then you could see here, and then you could click on details, and you could open it. This is like by far the most inefficient way that you could possibly implement this feature. It is terrible. Like, there's no other way to describe it. It's just horrible. Because if you're dealing with a contact, why would I have to go then find that contact to then go find whatever the automation that I sent out? So it's just stupid. There's no other word to describe it. So that has to change. However, I found a workaround, and the workaround is, I wouldn't say it's simple, but I'll try to explain it. It's simple, but it's just you shouldn't have to do it. So what I have is I have these two workflows, which is how to track email. So what I do is I basically have an event that triggers, and the trigger happens on, it monitors all email events and then checks to see if the event is open. And if that's the case, then what I do is I add a note to that particular contact, right? So because I sent out an email to John's event triggered, which then I could then put a note on John's thing, so that I could come here, I could come into here, to the contact, and I could click on notes, and I'll see, you see here it says active, email opened but no reply, right? So something like that. So that's how I'm working around this. I think that's just a sad thing. But yeah, now other things that are really good is the ability to, like, again, I'm all over the place, I know, in this video, but I just want to give like just a whirlwind tour of what I think. That you could just check off, like, say, all the emails or flag them or whatever, or put tags in them and create these smart lists. And then I can say I want to email every person, or I want to text every person, or there's apparently a way to do multiple calls where you could just, like, say I want to call these 100 people, and it'll just allow you to just go through, you know, all of them in sort of automated fashion to call them, right? I haven't necessarily figured that out. And then the conversation part is where you think. So anyway, I'm rambling again, but this is just like this is like a whirlwind tour, right? Like, I'm not trying to, you know, give you a tutorial on how to use this tool. I just wanted to give you my sort of take and experience on things that I think were good with this tool, and things that I just don't think are working properly, that they need to constantly improve on. I'm sure I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Let me just double check my notes here. So interface, yeah, not a standard CRM, but you could cut, yeah, the automation thing is pretty good. If I had to give it a rating, I would say 70 out of 100, right? So has some really good features, but I've seen better implementations. But just the fact that you could set up this system and then charge your clients a fee and have them put in their credit card and then charge them for certain things is what makes this tool a little bit powerful. And that's the reason why I'm sticking with it, because, like I said, I have multiple different types of companies that I run, and I just needed like a centralized way to kind of keep things organized. In another video, I'm going to show you how to pull leads from, say, Google Docs or whatever into this tool, do all this cleaning in Google Docs, and then push it into this tool. So yeah, other than that, hopefully you got some value. I know I rambled quite a bit in this video. Hopefully you got some value out of it. If you did, like I said, like video, give me a thumbs up, add a message, add a comment. If you know something about this tool that I misspoke about, let me know, and put it in the comment, and I'm happy to take that feedback or learn something or whatever it is, right? So with that, have yourself a wonderful day. Bye.